going on, guys? This is Mike over at Valley Vapors, and another review that we are excited to bring you is this brand new in the box Aspire Atlantis. We have a very limited supply here. They are extremely hard to get a hold of, but at Valley Vapors we do have some. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little unboxing. So in here you have your Aspire Atlantis. You have in the back, you're gonna have a replacement glass, the Pyrex, and you're gonna have an extra coil. I'm gonna take this coil out of here and show you guys how massive the coils are in this tank. Just remember that through this entire review, this is a tank. This is, in my opinion, changing tanks forever. Revolutionary thing in vaping. This is the coil alone. These are sub-ohm coils. From what I can tell, I haven't taken one apart just yet, but be looking for the tutorial on how to rebuild the Atlantis coil. We will be doing it soon. From what I can tell in here, it is 26 gauge, about 9 wraps vertical coil. They say it is 0.5. I will put it on an ohms checker for you guys. I've seen a lot of them around 0.6, but either way, you are getting really low sub-ohm with the tank. And you get the gimmicky little like us on Facebook. By the way, like us on Facebook. With some of their products on the back. But this coil is just insane. And I know a lot of people are going to want to rebuild it, especially cloud chasers like us. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and take this apart for you here on camera. You have the drip tip here, which is a really wide bore drip tip. The airflow on this thing is insanely good. This is the smallest air hole. You turn it to the right and you get the next. Turn it again and you get the next to largest. One more and that is all the way open. Just dry pull on this so you can hear it. There's nothing blocking air from coming in this thing. It does have the 510 connector. Any device that we put it on, it sits very nice, very flush. And to unscrew, it's just like any other Kangaroo Pro tank or the Aspire Nautilus, the Mini. It just screws from the bottom and you fill from here. You have to be careful when taking this out. It is a nice snug fit. Just kind of gently pull and tilt it as you go. This is the Pyrex glass here. If you can see in here, it has these little metal, I don't know if teeth, grooves, I don't know the exact word to describe it, but this holds that tank in place very, very firmly. On the bottom of this, you have this plastic silicone. Not 100% sure of exactly what material this is, but this is going to hold that tank in from the bottom and create a good seal. This is your coil in here. Just as any other coil in a tank, you just unscrew, take it out, screw it back down to put it back in. I'm going to throw this on an ohms checker real quick and show you guys what it's ohming at. Okay guys, I have it on the ohms reader, and as you can see, it's reading at a 0.55. That's right where they say it's going to be. 5/100ths of an ohm higher. It's not going to make very much difference at all, if any. Okay guys, before I fill this up, whenever you do fill this tank up, something that you need to make sure of is, if you can see in here, right here, that little hole, that is actually going to go to your wicking material. That's where the fluid is going to go through. And as you can see, the post coming from the top has these grooves. It has the cutouts on it. You just want to make sure that they're lined up. If you block those off, you're not going to get any juice through there. So let me go ahead, fill this thing up, and get ready to vape. Okay guys, I go ahead and put some liquid in here. I only filled it up about halfway. Something to note, this thing is throwing clouds like a rebuildable atomizer, like an RDA. Although the one downside is it only holds 1.8 mils of juice. If you're looking at it as strictly a tank with tank performance, that is a downside. But looking at it with how this thing blows clouds, it's not a downside at all to me. If you think about it, 1.8 milliliters, don't know how long it's going to take to go through it. but I have a feeling it's not going to take any longer than maybe, 30 minutes, 45 minutes of pretty good vaping. But with this tank of it, you're not having to drip every single time. 2 pulls, drip, 3 pulls, drip. You're saving yourself the time, the hassle. So say if you're, driving, or if you're walking around, if you're out at a bar, doing something like that, you're not going to have to constantly drip. You do have the capacity of 1.8 milliliters to vape on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this on the black Sigelei 100 watt that we have here in the shop. For those of you that watch the review on the Sigelei 100 watt, I thank you. It means a lot to us that you go and watch those videos. And they recommend that this be vaped at about 30 watts. So I'm going to start at about 25. Okay, as you guys can see here, once I get it focused, it is reading 0.6 ohms at 25 watts, and it is giving me 3.9 volts. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do a couple pulls on this real quick and set it down to the smallest air hole. I'm going to vape with it like that for a second. So again, 25 watts, 3.9 volts with a 0.6 ohm Aspire Atlantis. Wow, the flavor is really good. At 25 watts on the smallest air hole, it's amazing. Let me go ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the sizes on the air holes at 25 watts real quick. Let's go ahead and turn it up to the next biggest. The next one after this is going to be all the way up. Wow, flavor's not diminishing, and the clouds are just getting bigger, and this is at 25 watts. They recommend 35 watts. So this is the largest air hole, 25 watts. Man, that is really good. Wow. Let's go ahead and crank this bad boy up to 30 watts, right at the low end of where they recommend. Okay guys, I got it set at 30 watts. We are reading 4.3 volts. See how she goes on the smallest air hole. Wow, it's really good. I'm gonna go ahead and take it up to the next one. And something to note, I have not gotten any signs of a dry hit at all. This thing is just swallowing up the liquid. Wow. That's the second largest air hole, guys. Gonna take it up to the third. That's the next to biggest. So let's see how that goes at 30 watts. Oh man, that's good. And still, not a dry hit to be found. Not even a sign of it. That little taste that you get just before it starts going dry, I haven't gotten any of that. I haven't had to do any extra pulls. If you can see it as I'm vaping, some of these bubbles are coming up, so that shows that is bringing in liquid very well. Here we go, 30 watts, 4.3 volts. Largest air hole on the Aspire Atlantis. Man, that definitely sits up there with some of my RDAs. That is phenomenal. I'm actually, I didn't plan on doing this, but I'm actually going to set up the camera the angle that I like to do for large clouds, because for a tank, this thing is throwing large clouds. So I'll see you over there, guys. Alright, here we are, guys. Again, this is the Aspire Atlantis. There's a sub-ohm tank blowing clouds like an RDA. I have the Sigelei 100 watt set at 30 watts. It's giving me 4.3 volts on a 0.6 resistance atomizer. yeah. If you want all of the cloud and flavor like an RDA, but with the convenience of a tank, come on down to the shop. We have the Aspire Atlantis in stock, limited supply, they're going fast, and they are hard to get a hold of. So from all of us here at Valley Vapors, keep calm and vape on. Holy crap, guys. I just wanted to add this little bit at the end of the video. This thing is hitting so well, producing clouds and flavor like you wouldn't imagine. It's actually kind of like boggling my mind. I keep wanting to drip on this thing. I'll be honest with you, all of us here, our minds are just kind of blown. We heard the descriptions, we saw, you know, some other video reviews, and there's no way to describe this other than for you guys to come see it at the shop and pick one up for yourselves. This thing is phenomenal. I don't know any other way to describe it than just mind is blown.